When change hits, some lean in, others dig in. So what do you do when it's your own team that are resisting the change or the shift? Let's talk about leading those who push back so you don't lose momentum or your people. Let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos.
Welcome to the Ask Dennis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I am asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts, experiences, and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey there. Well, welcome to the Leadership is Changing podcast. I'm your guest, Denis Gianoutsos, and as always, it's great to have you here with me. I'm actually recording this episode in Perth, Western Australia. It's a beautiful city, and actually I'm here in a vineyard with an executive team, and we've been working through a whole lot of stuff around them as a team, them as individuals, and today we're going to be talking about where they are going as an organization, but their vision, their mission, and their values. And it's, you know what, it's always a pleasure to be working with great leaders. Well, today we're going to dive into a question that I get asked a lot, and one that's critical for leaders at every level. How do you handle members of your team who don't accept change or who find change difficult? Here's the reality. In any transformation, whether it's a strategy shift, a restructure, or new technology, not everyone will be on board from day one. Some are going to question it, and others will resist it, and a few might even sabotage it. In fact, that's actually quite a strong word to use, but sometimes it might actually happen. But here's the thing. Resistance isn't the enemy. Silence is. So what we're going to do today is to unpack how to respond to resistance in a way that builds stronger teams and creates forward momentum. Number one would be start with curiosity, not control. That word curiosity is so cool. I love it. And when someone resists change, the first move isn't to shut them down. It's to seek to understand. And you can ask various questions like, what's behind their thinking around their hesitation? Or what is their fear? Is there fatigue? Is there a lack of clarity? And do they feel unheard or left out of the process? Because you see, sometimes it's actually whereby they have some questions, but they're not being answered, or their voice isn't being heard. And sometimes resistance is the signal that something important hasn't been addressed. So don't label them as a problem, engage them as part of the solution. And remember, people support what they help create. So if you can actually get people involved in creating the change, they are more likely going to buy into it. Number two is communicate the why again and again and again. Because one of the biggest mistakes leaders make is assuming that saying something once is enough. Well, guess what? It's not. In a world where there's noise and stress and rapid change, people need to hear the why multiple times and in multiple ways. If you can paint the bigger picture, so what's at stake if we don't change, or what opportunities will this create for them personally and professionally, and how will it help the team, the organization, and your customers? If you can anchor the change to purpose, it's actually going to help a lot. Because when people connect emotionally to the why, they are far more likely to shift their mindset. Number three is address the energy drainers. Now, let's be real here. Some people don't just resist change. In fact, they fight it. They do it loudly and they do it publicly. And their energy spreads. In other words, they start to affect others. As a leader, you've got to protect the culture. You need to have that direct conversation. Be firm, but be respectful. Things along the lines of, hey, I've noticed that you're being pushing back hard on this shift or on this change. Let's talk about what's going on. Now, make it clear. Feedback is welcome, but sabotage is not. And sometimes people need to be reminded that the adaptability is part of their role as individuals, as leaders. And if they're choosing not to adapt, then they are choosing not to grow. And that has consequences as well. Number 4, coach for growth or make the call. Now, for some of you, you may find this hard because leaders sometimes don't like those difficult conversations. For some, resistance comes from not knowing how to change. And that's where the coaching can come in. You can equip them, you can support them, and you can challenge them in a really good way. But at some point, if they refuse to grow, you may need to make that tough call. One person's resistance can become a roadblock for the entire team. And I've seen it time and time again, whereby there's 1, 2, or 3 people, there's somebody, and their resistance actually stops the team from progressing. Leadership isn't just about being liked. It's about doing what's right for the mission and for the future. So you may have to have those conversations. Number 5 is celebrate the adapters. So it's a big one, and it's the last one that I want to share with you. If you can promote, celebrate the champions of change, that's a good thing. Celebrate those who have leaned in. Highlight the ones who took a risk and adapted. Make it contagious. What do I mean by that? If you celebrate, people will follow the energy and they watch who gets recognized. So use the spotlight, the celebration, the recognition strategically. Be smart about it. You know what, listeners, change is hard, but it's not the change itself that can break teams. It's how leaders handle resistance. So lead with empathy, communicate with clarity, coach with intent, and act with courage. Because when leadership is changing and the world around us is shifting, you need to lead from the front, bring your people with you, and make the hard calls when necessary. Thanks for listening. Hey, if this episode struck a chord with you, share it with a fellow leader who you might be navigating resistance right now, or share it with somebody who you think needs to hear this. And remember, every great leader once had to lead someone through change. Listeners, keep adapting, keep evolving, and keep leading. Your call to action this week, if you need to get on a free 30-minute call with me, go to my website, leadingchangepartners.com. You'll see some buttons there about to book a call, and you click on those, goes to my booking system, and you can actually choose a day and time to catch up with me. Also, my show notes for this episode, there will be the link there for you to click on as well. Hey, listeners, that's it for this episode. It's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.